Hey guys, SmartNinja000 here, and today we're in the most recent snapshot 18W03B, and we're going to be working on the Wizard Pack. It's been a little while since we actually did it, and that's just because, well, you'll see. But the feature I want to point out I don't think I showed this off in a previous video, but we now have it say, instead of Java Edition, Wizard Pack, now this Java 8, Java 8, that's just your, thing, it could be any of these. But the Wizard Pack, so if you have Texture Pack on now, it will say Wizard Pack there, which I think is pretty nice. And now the reason there hasn't actually been a Wizard Pack video in quite a while is just because we are in the middle of a very weird feature. Here, if I do give, first off, a lot of these actually crash your game. So I believe gems is actually correct. Yeah. So first off, you'll notice all these are nice. And that all seems to be working. Their colored names, I've switched that over to the new. Now, why it's italicized, it's not actually italicized, that's a bug in this snapshot, so, oh well. Now, orbs is actually really interesting. You'll notice I have these nice little, these nice little things. So this gives you, you hit 20% faster, you take 50% less knockback, and you get 2.5 hearts. I actually had to change the half, 1.5 symbol, so like 2 and then the 1, that thing, just because you couldn't actually tell that was a 2, so I changed that ever so slightly, which is something you can notice. And this is also, this is what it will look like if it's not even going to fit all on screen, but you can see there's the little, the speed particle. This gives you, I think, 20% more speed. I can put in my offhand, and you can see that all these will work. I have my speed, and here, let me actually go into survival for this, but I have my speed, I have my, what is this one? I attack faster. So a little bit it's not as noticeable with your hand. Knockback resistance, not actually that noticeable. And of course, that's not right, it should only give you 2.5. So ignore that I have 3 hearts right there. And again, this is the reason why there hasn't been a Wizard Pack video. Just because so much of it is finicky. If I actually do give, or function give, you can see I've been working on this, but if I do wands air, I only have air, and I'm pretty sure if I do that, it does crash. Just because there's a lot of messed up features with this that I have to adjust just because of this. Now, all the files are still there. I'm actually going to press F1 just so that way we don't have that really long scoreboard. But it is pretty packed full of bugs, this. Now some Wizard Pack news. Obviously, I have merch now, which you can get, link in the description. So obviously I'm going to try and come up with unique ideas for merch. So there will be Wizard Pack merch. That's cool. The wands are kind of, well, I mean, they're not really broken. I mean, if I give myself it, I'm pretty sure it will crash my game. So I'm just going to real quick see if it crashed my game. If it does, we're not going to try out a wand, show that they work or not. I don't actually know. Good news, they don't. Of course, the name, it's not good. Yep. It's italic. You know, if I ever over it, you can see I did actually swap this one. They do work, so that will be nice for me. We actually are really close to being able to publish 0.3. We have to wait for a few more snapshots so we can do custom crafting with MBT values. Because right now we cannot, which is kind of annoying. We do actually have this feature added. I mentioned this on my Discord, but you can now craft with any of the stones, your stone tools, which is really nice. It works with all the stone tools and also furnaces. I don't think I have that recipe. Oh, I do. I just can't spell. I didn't make it work with pistons, but I was considering it. But I think it just doesn't make too much sense. I might switch that back over because you can see it does work with all the woods. And of course, this is the newest snapshot, so you do have all your trapdoors, which is really nice because I love these trapdoors. Now, for the wands, the way the recipes are going to work, it's actually going to work a bit like the walls. So you have this menu where you can select which one you want to craft, or the banner is probably a better example because there's exactly 16 of them, and there is 16 wands. No, I'm not. I'm going to make it so there's you choose, but it's not going to be like that. It's actually going to be so you choose you want to craft a air wand maybe, and then you would choose, and oh look, there's only 4 different to choose from. And then you would want to maybe make a water primary. Basically, you choose your primary. So that's how that was going to work. For that. Now this is the empty wand recipe. This is the orbs recipe. The orbs are all going to be in the same thing, just because there's not that many variations with them. I thought I could do some variations, maybe make them even random, but I decided against it. Now, eventually, obviously, we want to have more orbs, but the way the orbs are going to work in the future is these 4 are the primary orbs, and all the others are secondary orbs, which gets a little bit confusing since, yes, you can use primary for secondary in the wands, but the way the wands are going to work is the 4 primary, air, water, earth, fire, can only be used as primary, and then you can have maybe your lightning as a secondary. I don't know. We have to decide. And, of course, these can be orbs. Now, the thing is, most of the almost all of the secondary orbs, which would be anything that's not earth, fire, water, air, let's go with lightning, they're most likely going to have a buff and a negative buff. Now there are some few exceptions. I want to have one that gives you jump boost, but that one would probably be the only one that doesn't. I might add something that makes you do slightly more damage, but basically that. But what I mean is maybe we'd make a speed element which gives you attack faster, you move faster, but you are missing 2 hearts. So there's negatives to those, but it would be like 40% maybe 40% walk faster compared to the I don't know what this is. But there'd be some negatives and positives. Now, as for mobs dropping the loot, now I've looked at this, and basically, if I want to make all mobs drop an orb, I'm not actually going to do that because I'm considering changing the data values, but I'll get into that in a second. All the mobs dropping the loot, that will take quite a bit of time because I have to manually edit every single one. Where I'm going to have a lot of trouble is the sheep, because there's 16 different data values. There's 16 different sheeps, so all with custom loot tables. But it shouldn't be too bad. I also need to. But the main reason I'm not doing it is because, again, the addition of these custom gems I might have. I mean, I can always change them later. Now we're going to actually get into this, which is the data values. You'll notice they go all the way up to 50. And I was thinking about this and I changed my mind. And I'm going to actually redo the data values again. Before they would just be stacking right on top of each other. Where there's these like breaks, these are just to give me some number reference. I'm going to do it so your orbs are going to be, or your gems are going to go all the way up to 100. Your orbs are going to start at 200. Your mobs are going to start at 300. That way we have tons and tons of space for potential. And it's just going to... Now what's really nice about this is, of course, our diamond hoe actually has a crazy ton of durability. Can you hoe puzzle? I don't even know if you can. Wing hoe. You can see we actually have 15. We can make 15 different things, each with 100. Now, we don't even need to make it go up all the way to 100. What I mean by that is we could maybe do the gems and the orbs the gems go up to 50, the orbs go up to another 50, and meaning we'd have up to 100 gems and orbs, which when you think about it is pretty insane. Now, what's nice is actually the carrot on the stick. If I give myself a damaged one, you'll notice I believe it does go exactly up to 50. So in this scenario, yeah, there we go. No, it goes to 25. So that means we could only technically have 25 different data values. Now, here's where it gets confusing. The carrot on the stick right-click detection is actually a bug, and we're not doing the stat remake in this snapshot, people are saying. In 1.13, they're going to redo stats eventually, but people are saying it's not going to be in this one. We actually have no confirmation on this. We are still waiting for a couple features like custom crafting with that lore being fixed. We have all the we have some execute bugs and junk, a lot of bugs, but they're working on it. Anyways, so we still are hoping for a few features like the /modify item. We're hoping for this since they did remove the /enchant command, which no one really cared about. I liked it just because we didn't have to place down the anvils. Although the /modify item will be a lot better because then we can also do the renaming. So we do stuff like /modify item, and then we might enter a slot, or we might enter a slot. Slots are in the replace item. So like entity, and then you would do your name, and then we could do most likely I think it's like I'm not sure actually. What is it? It's not the containers. The containers are for the it would be, I believe, there's a lot of them. You can see. I think it's like, so you can adjust the hotbar, and then there's the inventory, which actually isn't even all of them. Villager, weapon, it's weapon. So weapon, and then that's how that would work. So anyway, what I was saying is we might do something like /modify item your slot, which would be weapon dot main hand, and then you would enter your person, and you could enter in your text. So like display name, because of the new one, then you could do something like Pokemon. Now, of course, that's a completely unknown command because that doesn't exist yet. But we're hoping for that, which would be very nice for the Wizard Pack. Now, what you've noticed actually is the whole time I've been doing this Wizard Pack, I have not used the carrots once, and I'm actually going to talk about that. And the reasoning behind that is we could very easily use them for the wands, but we're not going to use them yet. We have a lot of really nice abilities, but there are some definite ones we have to end up changing. Levitation's good. Water breathing's not super effective. This one is a little bit weird. This one is really weird. It makes an explosion particle and gives people blindness. You're not going to need that one that much. Some nice ones that are very useful is the Haste 2, the Health Boost, Nearby Mobs on Fire. Very nice for farms. Removes lots of fire. That one's not so great. It's good for the nether, but it's not so great. The strength one is a little bit weak. When I think of it as a golden apple. If you are playing survival and you are running in the wild and you see a zombie, you are not going to eat the golden apple right before, especially considering you have regen 2. It's not that effective in ultra hardcore. Definitely could be effective, but yeah, not that effective. And of course, an enchanted golden apple. I've never found an experience where you actually need to eat one, especially since they changed it so you get absorption 4, regen 2 for a lot of seconds, and fire res and resistance. It's just really overpowered. But here's the problem with that. Minecraft never has the experience where you need to have overpowered items. The only time you really use that is when you find the Ender Dragon. But that is usually a one-time experience. Then you have your Elytra, and then you can easily just fly around and shoot it as quickly as possible. It's more of a farming experience, not more of a fighting experience, which is something I want to focus more on with the Wizard Pack. Golden apples, you definitely might use them in later dragon fights. I could definitely see you eating a regular, but having an enchanted golden apple, especially, I just don't feel like it's needed. And I believe that is one of the reasons why they ended up removing it from with your ability to craft it. Now, speaking of extra crafting recipes, we've already seen. I was getting better at that too. I hadn't tested the whole video. Speaking of extra crafting recipes, we've already seen the stones being used really nicely. But the only other recipes I really see myself making would probably be just some, like, I don't know, just something like maybe the name tags, the saddles. I feel like saddles have a lot of really nice properties, but they're very difficult to get. And when you're playing this, my thought is it's going to be either a single player world, which is what most of the people will do, but of course it's supposed to be a server experience, and in further server experience I do suggest some plugins. But of course, if we are going to set up a server one, it's going to be a little bit difficult. I am going to set up a server for it, which will just replace NinjaCraft. You keep all your stuff, don't worry. But stuff like, but I feel like it could. What am I even saying? Let me just take a break. Basically, what I'm saying is, for this, I assume if you're going to do this on a server, I suggest certain plugins. The ones I'm suggesting is grief prevention for claiming land. That's pretty crucial, and there's no way to really do that with command blocks easily. The other one is MCMO, just because that's just a really nice plugin, and it definitely fits sort of the feel I want with the wizard pack. Now the problem with MCMO is they do change up the fishing drops, and I believe that saddles you can't get, which is pretty annoying. I don't think you can. There's some other way to get them. I just don't know. I don't know too much about it, but so I will definitely be adding a saddle recipe and name tag recipe. I think those could be really nice. I would also like to add some recipes like tall grass, just some other thing, you know. Now, I don't want this video to be too long just because, you know, upload, am I right? But, that's pretty much I'm going to say for this. I'm not going to work in command blocks right now. There's not much I can really do. Have to wait for a lot of things to change. I am going to switch up the data values. I'm probably going to set this to, these are going to go up to 50. This is going to go up. This is going to take place from 50, so these are just going to stay here. This is going to actually be at like 100. Actually, it'll be 101 just because that's the way I'm going to do it. Now, eventually, we have lots of things to fix, like carrot on the stick detection. That won't be a thing. So we're going to have to make the wands, then have different data value. This actually, I don't even. What is the data value for this? I don't know. It's not written down. I can check it later. But that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video, then be sure to leave a like. If we can get, I actually have to change this. Normally it's 5 likes, but we're going to do it 10 likes. I'll do another video, but there's not much I can actually do about it. By the way, when I mean video, like I'll make another one, I mean out early. That's just, so, there's not much I can really do right now, so, oh well. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and, okay, that's it. Bye.